Welcome to the state of Ohio. I'm Karen Kassler. After 7 weeks, the federal racketeering trial of Republican former Ohio House Speaker Larry Householder and ex-Ohio Republican Party Chair Matt Borges is nearing an end. Testimony is now over, with Householder's defense resting after he spent 2 days on the stand, and Borges' team resting without calling a single witness. Next week, closing arguments in the case, in which the two are alleged to have played roles in a $61 million bribery scheme to pass a nuclear power plant bailout law for FirstEnergy. I talked this week with Jessie Balmert, state government and politics reporter for the USA Today Network Ohio Bureau.
So what was the case that Larry Householder made for himself when he was on the stand?
Yeah, so Larry Householder took the stand this week, and he said that, number one, that he wasn't at any of these steakhouse dinners, that the federal prosecutors are saying was where the plan was hatched to exchange FirstEnergy donations in exchange for this piece of legislation, House Bill 6, which had nuclear plant bailouts that would help a subsidy FirstEnergy Solutions. And so he said, I wasn't there. And then the rest of his defense was essentially touting the benefits of House Bill 6, why someone might want to vote for this legislation, other than because one had received a lot of political contributions.
What were some of the points that Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Glatfelder made in her cross-examination, which was pretty pointed?
Yeah, so she really went point by point and tried to dismantle some of what Larry Householder said on his direct examination. For example, he said that he was returning to the Ohio House to tackle divisiveness between the parties and even within the Republican Party. Well, then Assistant U.S. Attorney Glatfelder queued up a couple clips of Larry Householder speaking with former lobbyist Neil Clark, where he was disparaging members of the Republican caucus. He also said that he would go after donors of Speaker Ryan Smith, who was his opponent in the race for speakership in 2019.
And she also showed some pictures that indicated that he was where he had claimed he wasn't.
Yeah, so Larry Householder said that he did not go to the Charlie Palmer Steakhouse in Washington, D.C. during the inauguration for President Donald Trump. And they had a photo that they pulled up that looked like Larry Householder's knee, also Householder's son, FirstEnergy's then top lobbyist Mike Dowling in a limo, and the kind of geocoding information from that photo indicated it was right next to the Charlie Palmer Steakhouse. So kind of throwing some doubt that perhaps he was there that night.
And he even said that he could be certain that two people in that photo were not there that night, which is interesting because the metadata puts that picture at a specific date. Let me ask you about Matt Borges, who's also on trial here. Is there anything to make of the fact that he and his team rested their case without calling a single witness?
Yeah, so this week started with Tyler Furman says that he was bribed by Matt Borges. Furman received a $15,000 check from Borges. Furman says that's in exchange for insider information about the House Bill 6 referendum that was trying to block that bailout bill. Borges says that the money was to help a friend who was in some financial trouble and for other projects that he was doing. And so it's really going to be who the jury believes. Borges and his attorneys decided not to take the stand, felt like the government had not proved their case.
And as you mentioned, the jury will get the case out after closing arguments on Tuesday. This case is so complicated, hundreds of exhibits and phone calls and pictures and documents and that sort of thing. Do you expect that they'll be deliberating for a long time?
Gosh, from my time covering state court, it's so hard to anticipate how juries are going to react. Just looking at these jurors, they're certainly paying attention. There have been some frustrations with the delays. This trial has been delayed a couple of times because of illness. And so I think they both want to do their job for democracy and also maybe want to be going home and getting done with this trial. So we'll see which forces are at play there.